Hello everyone, my name is Ada, and today I would like to talk about why is Hollywood a bad place? Don't we all love that moment when the Warner Bros. Picture, 20th Century Fox, Universal, or Pixar image/animation shows up on our screen? It is when we're trying to watch a movie we're really excited about, or really just any film production company's logo. I know I am. We all like to get a glimpse of the Hollywood world and admire our favorite actress' performance. I even wonder how many of us have wished to be a part of that world. Ever since I can remember, it was my dream to become a Hollywood actress. I fell in love with acting and watching movies. I loved doing plays in school and researching deeply about the film industry and what goes on in Hollywood. The past year alone, I've watched several documentaries about what goes on behind the scenes. What I've discovered is that Hollywood is a bad place. So today I want to talk about why that is, focusing on three aspects that support this statement. Hollywood is not a safe place, pedophilia is a growing pandemic, and Hollywood is cruel and immoral. So let's dive into it. Hollywood is not a safe place. I'll give you some examples. First of all, Hollywood is not a safe place for actors on set. According to cyberbreeze.com, this is probably the most visually horrific accident that has happened on the set of a film. During filming The Twilight Zone, a helicopter had a slight malfunction due to pyrotechnics, which led to decapitating two actors and crushing a third. Pretty terrifying, right? In retrospect, filming a movie near a nuclear site was a bad idea to begin with. But while filming The Conqueror in 1956, it is believed that the filming location and radiation led to 91 people who worked on the film to develop cancer within a few decades. The famous example being John Wayne. To add insult to injury, the film was not received by audiences. Hasn't really been worth the risk, has it? Now, Hollywood film set is not just unsafe for actors, but their stunts as well. XXS was the film that turned Vin Diesel into an A-list star for a while and garnered him many more action movie roles. However, it wasn't him doing the stunts. His stunt double name was Harry O'Connor, and he would unfortunately die in the set of XXS when he crashed into a bridge. Moving on, pedophilia is a growing pandemic in Hollywood. This has been a very consistent topic in all documentaries I've watched. According to Robert Downey Jr.'s Instagram post that has been viewed more than 68,000 times within 24 hours, an elite Hollywood pedophile ring is emerging before our eyes. Selling and child abuse is a regular daily occurrence. People's most famous leaders and icons such as Obama, Biden, Charlie Chaplin, Elvis Presley, and many others have been heavily involved in such acts. After receiving much public attention, a certain documentary that displays it all has been forever erased from internet's history. What a coincidence. The documentary showed all evidence of such and mentions one of the most famous outlets for completing the transaction of selling children and child abuse. The location is a restaurant located near Hollywood, decorated with very strange artwork and very provocative artwork. People who are heavily involved use symbols and code words of food, such as ice cream, to portray or describe a profile of a child which they wish or plan on buying and using. Very unfortunate. In this documentary, ex-president of the United States, Donald Trump, works hard to fight against it. And as I've mentioned, many stars have been secretly and publicly interfered with young ones illegally. According to Factiny.com, While being busy capturing the hearts of the world with a prolific string of classic pictures, Charlie Chaplin was also a notorious womanizer. He claimed to have slept with over 2,000 women. One thing Charlie Chaplin's pursuits had in common was their youth. He first met and engaged in a romance with Edna Purviance when she was 19. He later moved on to Mildred Harris, who was 16 when the 29-year-old met her. He impregnated the teenage Lita Gray, whom Chaplin has first become interested in when she was only 12 years old. Incidents like these continued until the 54-year-old Charlie Chaplin married the 18-year-old Oana O'Neill. Now, regarding Elvis Presley, despite being the king of rock and roll, he was very insecure, especially where sex was concerned. This meant that Presley only desired very, very young girls who hadn't had any sexual experience, which could put pressure on himself. This led to him asking managers to round up girls who were 16 or younger, which in most states was illegal. Can you even imagine? And finally, the Hollywood world is cruel and immoral. Not very surprising. It's not really getting any better, is it? So, while basically every point this far talks about humans and harsh cruelty behind human relationships, aka abuse, there is animal cruelty carried through Hollywood. According to CyberBreeze.com, during multi-year filming of the Hobbit series, approximately 27 animals died. These animals range from sheep, goats, and even horses. As you could imagine, PETA was not very happy with this film in the least. So there you have it. A place that is normally seen as pretty safe for multi-million actors to work alongside hundreds of people can sometimes be a death trap. Now, immorality is a big one, don't you think? This should have never happened, but despite only being 12 years old, Brooke Shields appeared in the film Pretty Baby as a child prostitute and had several very suggestive scenes in the film, which was simply unacceptable. Should we even begin with affairs? There have been numerous affairs in Hollywood, but few have ruined a career like Bergman's did. At the time, Bergman was one of the biggest actresses out there, but when she had an affair with a married man while being also married herself on the set of a film, she was vilified in public. I think she deserved it. Having shared all of this, I want you to ask yourselves, what kind of message does the Hollywood send to the public? Does it portray a picture of a good place? Or does it use entertainment to hide the cruelty in the Hollywood world, that Hollywood is actually a bad place? I ask and plead with you now to think about what is it you can do in your community to fight against these crimes, and how can you avoid being a victim of pedophilia, cruelty, and immorality? Because what's happening in Hollywood isn't only affecting the world in Hollywood, but our own daily lives. It's only spreading from Hollywood throughout the rest of the world. Ask yourselves, what can we do to change this? Thank you.